Technical team, can you please let us know if all of our participants are in the waiting room now? Rico, can you hear me?
Okay, we're going live, and I see the attendees. I got them.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Jessica Corbett with Fulton County. We are joined this afternoon by Chairman Rob Pitts and Fulton County Manager Dick Anderson. We are delighted to have with us representing the Falcons and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Mr. Steve Cannon, as well as Mr. Tony Ressler and Steve Koonin here from the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena. We're very excited about our partnership and continuing this partnership and growing it for our early voting, which will begin on December 14th. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chairman Pitts, and we'll hear from each of the speakers, and then we'll have some time for questions. Mr. Chairman?
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Corbett, and thank each of you for being with us this afternoon, particularly the media who's taking time to be with us. Let me go back to the very beginning. If memory serves me correctly, it was June 18th, approximately 10.
Pushing past the rhetoric.
This is exactly the kind of language that is at the base of growing threat environment.
Everyone, please, just a reminder, everyone, to please mute your lines. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
It was June 18th at approximately 10:30 in the morning when my phone rang, this phone here. On the other end was Steve Koonin of the Atlanta Hawks. And Steve said to me, he said, "Rob, I have an idea." Took about a minute to explain the idea. And I said, "Steve, give me a minute. I'll get back to you." 2 minutes later, I called him back. Another minute, we had a deal. The deal was that Steve was offering to partner with Fulton County in a historic partnership between county government, the Atlanta Hawks, and State Farm Arena. And I must be very honest with you, I could not have dreamed as a result of that telephone call that that conversation would mean what it has meant to Fulton County voting, voter participation, not only in Fulton County, the state of Georgia, but even the country. What happened as a result of that conversation and our partnership with the Atlanta Hawks, other NBA teams saw the benefit in doing exactly what we were doing here. We were the trailblazers, and it has grown, not only nationally, but even internationally. That has meant so much. It has been an experience for me, for Fulton County, and the voters of Fulton County who have taken the time to come to State Farm Arena to cast their votes have only had praise for State Farm Arena and the fact that the Atlanta Hawks stood up, stepped forward, joined hands with us to make voting a very pleasant experience in Fulton County. Now, since that time, I think that we've come full circle. And I'm so pleased today to announce that in addition to our beloved Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena, that the Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium are joining hands with us as well. So the partnership now has grown. It's Fulton County, the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United, all joining hands to make voting in Fulton County a wonderful, pleasant, open, fair, transparent experience. So with that as my introduction, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tony Ressler, representing the ownership of the Atlanta Hawks, because it has been a real partnership, and throughout their organization, from ownership, coaches, players, employees, all came forward, did not hesitate to see the benefit in what they were doing. So Mr. Ressler, on behalf of Fulton County, my colleagues on the Board of Commissioners, the manager who is with me here today, but more importantly, on behalf of the 1,200,000 people that we represent in Fulton County, I said thank you to the Atlanta Hawks, and now thank you to the Atlanta Falcons and the Atlanta United. So with that, Mr. Wrestler, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And Chairman Pitts and all our friends at Fulton County, it's good to see everyone, at least by Zoom. So it of course is not just great to be here, but let there be no confusion. The Atlanta Hawks are not just happy to help, but we've always argued that if we could be a community asset when appropriate, we should be. And the idea of helping to solve a problem where private sector and public sector folks can truly work together, that's a good thing. That's a good thing from our view, and that's a good thing that we love and are proud to see so many other franchises and members of the private sector help the public sector when appropriate. You know, let's face it, we all agree, voting should not be that difficult or dangerous or take 4 or 5 hours in line, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're white, black, brown, Asian. The good news, and I assure you at State Farm Arena and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, knowing my friends at the Falcons, it will be safe and it will be efficient, and it will be efficient in, as we evidenced, we were doing 15 minutes in and out. So we're so proud of what we've all been able to help Fulton County achieve. But I must say, and this is something that we're all so excited about, you know, partnering in this endeavor with the Atlanta Falcons and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Let's not kid ourselves. Our friend Arthur Blank and his organization has helped set the standard for community support and running a first-class organization. I think the ability for us to help Fulton County voters, this is just a great honor for the Atlanta Hawks and for our entire organization to be able to partner with Fulton County and the Atlanta Falcons and their extraordinary organization. So we're obviously grateful to be here. We hope to keep doing the good work. We know what we have in front of us, which is true effort. We are thrilled that our friends at Fulton County are leading the charge, but we're here to help. And with that, I guess I'm just delighted to introduce my friend Steve Cannon, the CEO of AMB Sports and Entertainment. I'm not completely sure he knows what he's gotten himself into, but I am completely certain that they will do an extraordinary job, and we hope to help them every step of the way. So thanks, and it's good to be here.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for your leadership, yours and Steve's leadership on this front. I think you sent a wonderful signal, and the good thing about sports is when people see things, they copy them, and good things get spread around the country and around the world. We're thrilled that we get to join you. We already know that we're kindred spirits when it comes to serving our community. So the ability for us to team up with State Farm, with the Hawks, with you, Tony and Steve, and be part of this early voting initiative in a historic election year, we're just honored and thrilled to be part of this. Voting and getting out the vote is extremely important to Arthur Blank, to his family, to our franchises. And we've done our best over the past months to be a participant in our democracy. And whether that's been using our platforms and our game day presentations to talk about getting out the vote, our players have been very vocal in digital and social media to get the word out that it matters. And this is the best way to participate in our democracy. We had an early registration drive in the Home Depot backyard to help the registration process. And now to be part of this historic runoff and the early voting for that, we're thrilled. Wonderful that the schedule came out so beautifully, where as Steve starts the process and begins the early voting, and then his season kicks in, and they'll need State Farm. They hand the baton to us, two sort of staples of downtown Atlanta, and then we pick the baton up, and from the 22nd through the 30th of December, we've got 7 early voting days. So couldn't have worked out any better. We're thrilled to be joining you. And with that, Steve, I'll pass on to the baton to you, Steve Cooney, the CEO of the Hawks and State Farm Arena.
But thank you, Steve, and thank you everyone for being here today. I want to start by thanking Chairman Pitts for giving us the opportunity. Tony's vision for a community asset is something that we diligently strive to achieve. But finding real opportunities to solve a problem is something that just doesn't happen every day. And voting in the general election in October, November, helped solve a problem. We had over 40,000 people vote in our building, which was the largest voting site in Georgia. And anecdotally, I don't have it on fact, the largest single site in the United States. And what we've been able to accomplish is instill in people in Fulton County is confidence that their vote matters. What was so amazing to me about this experience was seeing the emotion of voters. A mother who has just become a naturalized citizen voting with her 18-year-old daughter for the first time, and they broke down crying with joy when they fed the ballot into the machine. The 80-year-old African-American gentleman who said he hadn't voted in 30 years because he wasn't physically capable of waiting in lines. And those stories fed our employees who worked really hard, long hours for 19 straight days. And now we as an organization are thrilled to be back. A few details. We had 300 machines and 60 poll pads registration areas for the general election. That will be cut approximately in half based on the projected turnout. Our partners and friends from Mercedes-Benz, Falcons, United will train with us. They'll be working with us the first week. So when we hand the baton to them, they'll be knowledgeable and confident and experienced in what it takes to put on an effort like this. And then downtown will be, again, election central for Atlanta. So we are thrilled to be part of it. We are thrilled to have been able to help Atlanta. We love partnering with the Falcons, where we exchange ideas and best practices and do a lot of things together. And we're so happy that people's voices will be able to be heard in a very effective, efficient, easy manner. So I will turn it back over to Jessica, and we're happy to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Coonan. And again, I just wanted to, on behalf of all of us, say thank you to both of all the leadership we have, and we're so fortunate. For reporters on the line, what I'd like to do is ask you if you could use the chat feature, and I can just call on you individually or raise your hand. I will wanted to just let everyone know that Mr. Barron, for those reporters who cover elections, and I know there are many of you on the line with us, Mr. Barron is not with us today. So if you have a lot of technical questions about the elections, we may not be able to answer those fully, but I have my notepad here and I'm ready to take down those notes so we can get responses to you. With that, I'll go ahead and open Q&A. All right, we have one question from Ken Belson. Ken said his question is, can you quantify the impact of turning the arena into a polling site? Where would these voters have gone in earlier years? I think the question, maybe Mr. Chairman, do you want to go ahead and kind of respond from an elections perspective, and then we can ask our colleagues here.
Well, the question being, where would voters have gone in the absence of State Farm Arena? Well, we had any number of early voting locations around town where they could have gone to had they chosen to go to, and those were still available. But the granddaddy of them all, though, was State Farm Arena. And when the word got out that they could actually go to State Farm Arena, it was an experience for a lot of people. I heard people who have been voting all of their lives and at other locations within Fulton County, some who had never voted before, some who had never been to State Farm Arena. But because of the uniqueness of historic nature of what we were doing at State Farm Arena, they chose to go there and experience it and go back and tell their friends. So I think it was a combination of the uniqueness of the location, the fact that we knew that the volunteers are going to be well trained. They could take MARTA. There was free parking. open access. And so it was just a complete voting experience there at State Farm Arena. And now to couple that with Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I mean, who can ask for anything more? There was no excuse for not voting early on November 9th, and that the same thing will be true for January 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have our next question is from Valencia Jones, and her question was about how many machines there will be between the two venues and the projected voter turnout. Because of the extraordinary nature of this election, the turnout could be as high as the general election. As everyone is aware, this really could be for the control of the US Senate. And so our turnout for the November 3rd general election was about 550,000 voters. More than 30,000 of those voted at State Farm Arena. Regarding the number of machines, 125 machines, and is that correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
125 machines. With this
125 machines and 30 poll pads. Based on our voting patterns and our analytics, we believe that that will more than satisfy and keep it to a quick experience. And then those machines will be moved over after the 19th to Mercedes-Benz, where they'll reside for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you. Lily Oppenheimer at WABE has a question. It says, since Mercedes-Benz Stadium is hosting the second round of early voting and it's the stadium's first times, what are officials doing to prepare for that last night, even when there will likely be a surge of voters at the last minute?
Well, fortunately, Steve Koonin and Tony Ressler have led the way. We're going to have 100 of our associates that will essentially spend multiple days training over at State Farm getting ready. So Steve warned me right up front that this was not an easy lift as an organization to pull off something as big as the early voting that they've already done. So we come eyes wide open with, and we're just going to leverage the experience from State Farm and apply that to Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Thank you so much. Valencia Jones has another question. She says, is there a consideration for opening these venues for the January 5th runoff election? So just to clarify this, they will be used for early voting for the January 5th runoff. And what we saw in November was the majority of voters cast their ballots before Election Day. In fact, 89% of Fulton County voters voted either by absentee ballot or during early voting. In terms of Election Day, changing the permanent Election Day location, that is very disruptive. Mr. Chairman, would you like to speak to that?
No, there's a formula that's used for that. So that's not possible right now. Now, who knows what can happen in the future? And there's also a scheduling problem. I don't know what the schedule is for the Hawks, don't know what the schedule is for the Falcons, but these things are always very complicated to do. But as someone said earlier, I mean, scheduling just worked so beautifully for us this time with respect to State Farm, the utilization of State Farm and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The schedules played right into our hands to make this such an opportunity for us. And let me just add one other thing here. This may be instructive for the media. We received a communication from the Metro Atlanta Chamber, which I was just thrilled to get. And I won't read the whole thing, but I think it's very instructive. And for Mr. Cannon and Mr. Koonin, what the letter says, this one paragraph. On behalf of the Metro Atlanta Chamber, we congratulate and thank you for an organized, efficient, and transparent election. You and your staff have displayed exceptional calm during a time when emotions have run uncommonly high. Your regular updates kept the public informed, and your trust in the process remained steadfast. Our business community places tremendous value on the integrity of the electoral process, the cornerstone of democracy. For that reason, we're grateful for leaders like you who dedicated much time and energy to protecting this institution. And we would not, under any circumstances, have received this without the support and the partnership that we received from the Atlanta Hawks, and going forward, the support and partnership that we will be receiving from the Atlanta Falcons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that was just an extraordinary acknowledgement. We have a question from Ken Belson. He says, thank you, Chairman. And I might ask each of our speakers to address this question. It says, could you talk to the power of sports in this effort? Hawks and Falcons players were very vocal in promoting voter education. Do you believe they had an impact?
I start with that, and I haven't been criticized about this, but as a result of this effort, and I've said this before, and I stand by it, there were probably any number, huge percentage of players, and still are, all leagues, who probably couldn't spell politics at one point. But as a result of this effort with the Atlanta Hawks, Coach Pierce getting their players involved, were players like LeBron James and others, players who were not engaged in their communities, took the time, in many instances, at the urging of their teams and the owners of the teams, number one, to register to vote for the first time, number two, to actually vote, and more importantly, to become involved or more involved in their communities. So I think that in addition to offering up a place where citizens could vote, sending out these athletes into their respective communities has been a tremendous benefit, not only for themselves, the players, but for the communities in which they play and earn their livings.
I think if I can, is Tony Russ, just to pile on to Chairman Pitts' comment. Listen, there's no doubt that sports, when done properly, should absolutely be a force of good, should be a force of good in their respective communities. And players and leagues and ownership are all trying to figure out how to contribute. If you think about it, there are many, many ways, but improving access to voting, understanding how to help people get out to vote, helping people appreciate the value of their vote. This is all just a positive to the community we live in, regardless of your political perspective or what side of the aisle that you might be on. The ability to value that vote and get more folks involved. I think that's something that that the community, certainly the vast majority of our fans, are appreciative of and supportive of. So, and yes, it is getting players of all sports in the NFL, in the NBA, who are desperately trying to be more involved in their respective communities, to have something to rally around and to help. And we're seeing that beautifully. And I think it's just a great positive. So we couldn't be more proud and more delighted. And I hope it continues.
Tony, I'll just add to that by saying how impressed I've been by the leadership of our players, both for Atlanta United and for the Falcons.
Yeah.
This wasn't a situation where we needed to push anybody or nudge them. Please use this platform. And in a lot of ways, they led us. I think they've, throughout this difficult year, they've all recognized the importance of this moment, the importance of exercising our voices within this democracy. So this has in many ways been player-led, where their voices have been up and out front, and then allowing leagues and ownership and facilities to complement those voices has created a wonderful ecosystem that has just reinforced the importance of this moment.
No doubt.
One little anecdote. At its core, sports is competition, and we're competitors. So we created a competition along
Pushing
with the Golden
past
State
the rhetoric.
Warriors.
This is exactly the kind of language that is at the base of.
Kendra, thank you. I apologize, Mr. Coonan.
So what I was saying is we competed against the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Detroit Pistons for the John Lewis Good Trouble Trophy, which was given to the team that registered the most voters. We partnered with I Am a Voter. We did text registration, and I'm pleased to say the Good Trouble Trophy lives in Atlanta where it should. We registered thousands and thousands of people, as did these other teams. And that's the key. is creating awareness, but also creating action. And sports comes from a place that there's high trust and there's high passion. And I think there were great results.
That's amazing. And thanks to all of you. At this time, I don't see any more questions in the chat. Just want to remind any of the reporters who are on the line or watching the live stream that we are always glad to take questions. We do hope to have some preview opportunities once we're actually set up, and we'll share that information as well. And we do have the early voting schedule online on our Fulton County website. One more question from Ken Belson for Mr. Coonan. What is the total number of voters registered?
I do not have the precise number with me, but we will get back with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, with that, Ken, yes, we will get that back to you. Thanks to all of you. Thank you all for being here. We look forward to seeing everyone as we get closer to early voting, and have a safe and healthy day.
Listen, we appreciate everyone's time. I do want to mention, I think all compliments for their voting experience should come to me and Chairman Pitts. All complaints should go to Steve Cannon and Steve Coonan. I'm just messing. Have a good day, everyone.
That was funny.
No problem, Tony. No problem.
No problem.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks,
care.
everybody. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Tony and Steve.